Arjun, first of all, I want to know about iRasus technologies and what product you have made.
iRasus is a company which is into energy analytics, with battery data being the core focus. So our company started with the simple thesis that climate change will involve transition from fossil fuel to clean energy, and to have clean energy, we will need to basically use some form of storage to store the data and then use the data in a format which is what we deem as clean. So we felt that battery will be the main fulcrum around which this transition will happen. We also understood that battery is not well understood by the users of this ecosystem, whether it's in the electric vehicle space or whether it's in storage, which is being used in solar or diesel replacement, DG replacement, diesel generator replacement. In all these places, the battery is not well understood. And the way we felt was that our company can basically use the concepts around telematics and extract the data and use the data to build a digital twin or a digital heartbeat. And then using the data, we can do a lot of analytics and use the insights to drive business applications and ensure that this transition of clean energy is safe, reliable, and affordable for the end users. So we have built a platform which extracts data from batteries. We have a whole gamut of algorithms which work in trying to understand the battery data, get the insights, and then use these insights to drive business applications in the end users of batteries. Primarily electric vehicles, and now we are getting into stationary storage as well.
Okay, so what exactly the product's name?
Our product's name is Preksha. Preksha is Sanskrit for sight.
Okay, so can you please elaborate about the uniqueness of this product, like how it works and how one can operate it?
Well, the uniqueness of the product is the depth of domain that we bring into this. First and foremost, that we've spent almost 5 years in terms of understanding battery, in terms of understanding how battery behavior changes with the architecture of the battery, the cell, the kind of chemistry that is used, um, the kind of battery management system that is used. All of this goes into a proper design, and we have kind of worked on understanding that. Essentially, what happens is, depending on the use case and depending on the industry, there is a simple hardware which gets plugged into the battery to extract the data. The communication can vary. In certain cases, like in electric vehicles, it will be either a CAN port or we can get the data through an OBD port. So the device plugs into these ports. In most cases, it will be a SIM which will connect to the port through the telematics device and then extract the data. In many cases, you also have network connectivity, which is offered through LAN, if it is a stationary battery and or Wi-Fi, and then the data then is transmitted to a server. The server can be a cloud-based server, it can be a public, it can be a private cloud, it can be an on-premise server. The architecture is fairly simple, and then different kinds of charts and dashboards are available on top of the core platform for end users to use. So operations team will have access to the charts and dashboards. Business teams will have access to different charts and dashboards for their use, and so will it be for others as well. So different business users will have different kinds of charts, dashboards for their management use, and reports, MIS, and that is how it is used. So this is the product and this is the utility.
Okay, so do you have any patent also?
As of now, no, but we will, shortly be looking at patent and IP enablement for some of the technology stack that we have built, especially on the extraction side. There are certain things that we are doing in terms of how we are managing the firmware upgrades on the battery side, which we will look at applying for patent. So not yet, but yes, that is something in the future.
Okay, so in a layman, in simple language, first of all, I want to know that who are your target audience?
Anyone who uses a battery for their business operations is my target audience.
Okay.
We have started with the electric vehicle industry, and within that space, we are actively working in the two-wheeler, three-wheeler segment on the lower end of the market, and
Mm-hmm.
on the premium end of the market, we are working on electric buses. We already have about 6 to 7 battery customers. As we speak, we have battery customers are integrating our platform at source, and then these batteries are going into three-wheelers and two-wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Electric bus side, of course, we work with the bus companies themselves, where this gets integrated into the bus through the OBD port. These are the two segments in the electric vehicle space that we are working in. We will also now get into the commercial vehicle space, electric trucks. That is the future. And on the stationary side, by next quarter, we will be launching our solution for the diesel replacement market, the BESS market, and primarily our focus will be on commercial users who are um, who are basically replacing diesel generators as a backup source with electrical batteries. So that is the core focus for us going forward. In the future, we will also see implementation of batteries happening across other industries. The solar grid storage is one area that we see a huge potential. We are also looking at implementations in um drones, data centers, where battery storage is going to be a primary means, a very critical mean of um, providing backup solutions. And that is where I think our focus will be. So wherever there is going to be battery storage, we believe iRasus and its Preksha platform should be there.
Okay, so in a simple language, if I want to know that if you are catering your services to customer, so how Preksha will be integrated in a vehicle, like how it can be used, what will be the process, and what will be the costing?
See, the our customers are B2B customers. So we sell to the battery companies because their OEMs have asked for this solution, or
Mm-hmm.
the finance companies have asked for the solution because the finance company wants to keep a track of the asset, and the asset is the battery. In the bus segment, why do the bus companies implement this solution? Because the bus is running 24/7 or maybe 12 hours, 14 hours, and the entire bus operations depends on how smooth is the running of the battery. So every data point of the battery is critical for them to make sure that there is no breakdown, there is no downtime.
Mm-hmm.
So this gets integrated at source. Today, uh, earlier it used to be that the batteries, we used to get orders where the devices would get integrated. The sometimes the bus has already been sold or the vehicle has already been sold and it will get integrated. But today, almost all our orders that we are getting are integration at source. So when the battery is manufactured and is getting dispatched,
Mm-hmm.
the device is integrated and the platform is anyways bundled with it. So the moment the battery is activated into the vehicle, um, you know the data starts coming in and the device is ready to use. And the bus, of course, again, when the production of the bus is happening, before it gets dispatched, the device and the platform gets activated. It is the business users who are using it. So obviously, it is a lot of backend teams which use the data. So servicing the service teams, for example, the customer service team, business service team, operations team are the biggest users.
Mm-hmm.
um, they have to ensure that the vehicle is up and running. They have to ensure that if there is any customer complaint, the data is available to understand what the problem is so that they can resolve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And going forward, we see extensively that a lot of proactive service management, proactive servicing will be done basis this data. So, which means that even before the customer gets to know, the problem is detected and the problem is solved.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Okay. So I want to know, can you provide specific examples of Indian clients or fleet operator who are currently using this Preksha platform?
I won't name the customers without obviously taking their approval, and I've not got the approval. But
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that one of the largest bus fleets in India
Mm-hmm.
is on our platform. That means a command control center
Mm-hmm.
in 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 Delhi NCR
Mm-hmm.
is actually having a team of 10 to 15 people who are always looking at the screens, always looking at the charts, and looking at which buses are performing well, which bus has outlier data, where there are critical problems, so that when the bus is going into
Mm-hmm.
uh, for example, in the middle of the day, the bus is going for basic charging.
Mm-hmm.
The service teams are already available at the depot with a pre understanding of what are the critical problems which have been reported, so that they don't waste time in doing any diagnosis. The diagnosis is already available,
Mm-hmm.
so they are readily available. So if there is a balancing to be done, they can do the balancing. If there is any other checks to be done, they can do the checking,
Mm-hmm.
and the problems are resolved before it becomes a critical breakdown issue. So it is already happening, and it's almost 2,300 buses which are running on this platform as of today. So this is something that is already live. Um, Another OEM which has just gone live, which has got a very small fleet now, they're just having 20 commercial vehicles, is also using it for very similar reasons. They're looking at, they're in the last mile delivery domain. So they are looking at critical uptime because they have to complete a certain number of trips. So the vehicles have to finish a number of kilometers. So
Mm-hmm.
it's important for them that uptime. And again, the critical issue is, how do we look at the fault data coming from the batteries? How do we decipher which fault data is important, which fault data is not so critical, and then look at the critical fault data and ensure that there's no downtime, and so there's no revenue loss. So this is already happening with a bus company
Okay.
and a
So, you have your product has been using by, as you mentioned, that so many people. So, I want to know that what quantifiable benefits have Indian customer experienced after implementing Preksha, like reduction in maintenance cost, battery life.
Yeah, so I'll give you two examples. The first example is, definitely an increase in uptime and hence an increase. So typically, the bus companies have to do about 120 kilometers a day minimum,
Mm-hmm.
and our systems have ensured that we are able to give at least 30 minutes extra of runtime, because we have reduced the time required for a bus to come for charging, do the basic servicing, and leave by 30 minutes. And that 30 minutes is translated to almost, I think we did a rough calculation. So on a fleet of 2,000 buses, I think it's almost 1 lakh rupees of extra revenue a day.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The other, one critical thing that we have realized is a lot of problems that fleet companies face
Mm-hmm.
um, are problems which come because there is no proactive management of faults and proactive management of servicing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what we have ensured is that, if there is certain trends available in a vehicle or in a battery operated vehicle, we are able to show charts where we can isolate those vehicles for proactive servicing. So maybe on a particular day when the vehicle load is less, the teams are flashing and asking them to come to the service center and actually get the battery serviced, get the batteries double checked, so that before any significant degradation happens or problems come up, they're able to resolve the issue and ensure uptime again. So, and this is another interesting feedback that we got, that one of our battery customers has actually rejected a warranty claim because, basis the data, they were able to prove to the end customer that the battery was misused, wrongful charging was done.
Okay.
And because wrongful charging was done, they were able to essentially ensure that the warranty claim which came, they were able to counter that successfully and said that, look, you have not used it properly and the charging was not done in a proper manner. So So warranty management is another area where uh, both sides can benefit by having the data available to prove or disprove
Mm-hmm.
real world. So I think there are multiple benefits which are coming in. And in the future, I think the biggest benefit will be that understanding of faults and ensuring that each fault is understood properly, and then corrective action is taken while the buses or the vehicles are running, or the two-wheelers or three-wheelers are running, without necessarily waiting for that fault to become a catastrophic failure. I
Mm-hmm.
think that is one of the best learnings that we have had.
Okay. So, uh, how many batteries or fleet units are actively monitored by Preksha in the Indian market today?
So in the two-wheeler, three-wheeler space, we have almost 2,500 batteries right now, 2,500 vehicles. Uh, and in buses, we have 3,000 buses, but each bus has almost five batteries. So it will be almost 15,000 bus batteries, which are getting managed, getting monitored on a daily basis right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, if I talk about sector wise, like which sector currently make up the majority of your product deployments?
As of now, the three-wheeler segment is the majority. Most of our
Three-wheeler EV.
three, but we foresee that electric buses will pick up in a big way. I think this year the bus deployments have been a little slow because of capacity constraints. But
Mm-hmm.
if we have already got two bus customers, and we should be adding more bus customers, and they have huge order books, which I
Mm-hmm.
think will be deployed in the next 1 year. So I think in the next 1 year we will see a significant surge in buses also.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I think this is going to be the two critical segments for us.
Mm-hmm.
And next year we see the diesel replacement stationary battery market taking up in a big way, because there's a lot of government push, policy push, as well as from a cost benefit analysis. I think compared to diesel generators, it makes more sense to have battery energy storage systems, ESS based solutions to um, uh, resolve, to basically solve the problem of power backup. And I think next year I see that significant scale up of that will also happen.
Okay. So has Preksha been part of any pilot programs or proof of concept trials in collaboration with OEMs, utility or fleet providers?
We started working with one bus OEM,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that bus OEM has gone live. Um, as of now, we are in talks with a few tier two OEMs as well in the commercial vehicle space.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and But I think from a pure utility perspective, we have already proven the benefits, because we have, as I said, more than 3,000 commercial vehicles in the bus segment and another 2,000 plus vehicles in the three-wheeler segment.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't see any need for proof of concept except for specific applications where the end use of the data will be. So,
Mm-hmm.
for example, we are seeing, for example, a requirement has come for us to enable the updation of, um, you know, version management of batteries over the air. For example, a very specific use case has come that the customer says that no matter where my vehicle is in India, I should be able to manage the firmware upgrade of batteries or the battery management system remotely. That's a very big ask. And but that is possible because we have the understanding of batteries, we have the understanding of the architecture, and we have quite a good understanding of how the data encryption and compression and the firmware updates will happen. So we will launch this feature in subsequent versions, and that will obviously go through its whole, pilot cycle. It will be tested on a few vehicles, buses, and then it'll get deployed. So I think going forward, we see a lot of use cases being tried out. The ability to extract data, manage the data, scale the data, get insights is already well established. But what applications will be driven by that data will be coming up in the near future. We see a lot of use cases around refurbishment of batteries and use of batteries from um, as we call it, first life to second life,
Hmm.
your future. We all of these will require a lot of understanding of data, data analysis, data monitoring, and that is where we will come into the picture again.
Okay. So, you have made a huge product, Riksha. So you must have faced some challenges also. So what kind of challenges you have faced after making this product? And
So
what
one of the biggest
yeah.
challenges we faced initially was to understand which side of the market will be the early adopters and which markets will be the followers. Um, so I think what we now are very clear is that public transportation and commercial transportation is the big drivers for us. And so we've taken a bet on working in these two segments. So the two extremes on the horizon. So it's a three-wheeler segment, commercial cargo, and even passenger way. In fact, e-rickshaws are going to be the focus on the small battery segment,
Mm-hmm.
and electric buses will be the focus on the large battery segment. So that was one. And in the initial stages, I think a lot of customer education was needed because most people did not understand why they need to have data. Why do they need to have an understanding of battery performance? What is the benefit of it? I think those were the two critical challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't see very early days, of course, some of the standardization challenges were there in terms of you know data ports,
Mm-hmm.
communication. I think those have now got mostly standardized with
Okay.
CAN being the default standard in the transportation segment.
Mm-hmm.
And on that segment, we obviously works with the OBD communication port. So I think a lot of, as we go forward, a lot of standardizations will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and the BESS segment, I think it is again something that we are getting in now.
Mm-hmm.
So as we move forward, I think there will be a huge initial learning curve in terms of different uh, solutions for different ends of the market, different use cases, different commercial segments. I think that will be another learning curve. And so I don't think there are challenges, there are always opportunities. And every opportunity, every challenge is an opportunity for an entrepreneur to solve. And as long as we are solving a problem that the customer faces, I think we'll be happy to take that up.
Okay. So, how does Preksha account for India's wide climatic range, from extreme heat in Rajasthan to humidity in Kerala, in battery degradation model?
See, it's a very interesting question. In fact, when we are building our data models, one of the weightages that we are giving is terrain and geography.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that is something that we are actively monitoring. To give you a perspective, mileage will change based on climatic conditions. Mileage will also change based on terrain. So a trip from one city to the other, if it has to pass through a hilly region, will give a different mileage. And if it goes through a plain region, will have a different mileage because obviously the power is requirement is different. Gradient has an impact on discharge and the power utilization. So our one of the models that we are building is benchmarking.
Mm-hmm.
So for capacity of a battery, um, what will be the power benchmark and what will be the
Mm-hmm.
mileage kilometers that traveled by 1 kilowatt hour of
Mm-hmm.
energy. And if we have to build that benchmark will also have to factor in these conditions. So our platform is actually actively monitoring them, and then we are building benchmarks which will take into account these points.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, has the Preksha been tested or calibrated for high temperature stress, monsoon, moisture condition, or dusty rural deployment environments?
See, the devices, the telematics devices are all IP65 enabled, so obviously they can withstand all these extreme temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
And the data itself. But what we are doing is our focus um, is to ensure that the battery is available to be used in a safe, reliable, and affordable manner. So
Mm-hmm.
we are more in terms of understanding how the data that is coming out of the batteries is utilized, how is it impacting performance, if there is any because of the day variations in temperature, if there are any safety or any kind of problems which are coming in, we should be able to flag them off to the operations team through our charts and outline the data so that the end user is not suffering, there is no breakdown, and there is no potential hazard. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that is what the purpose is. Uh, Devices are obviously tested for extreme conditions, and as I said, they're all IP65 enabled, so
Okay.
there's no question of any this.
Mhm.
We
So,
will
what level of technical
handle
expertise
the current.
is required on the customer side to interpret Preksha's dashboard or configure alert?
See, technical expertise typically at the operations level, people who have an understanding of batteries will be able to interpret the data. Typical, what are the what are the data points which are coming in, whether it's voltage, current, interpretations of, and then temperature, and then different kinds of permutation combination of the data, the cell balancing data. So I think anyone with a basic understanding of ops, with a little bit of training, will be able to understand, including in the three-wheeler segment, where our customers are typically battery customers, and many of them are small and medium enterprises. So
Mm-hmm.
they don't have very experienced people, but even people with a basic diploma
Mm-hmm.
who have a basic understanding of technical parameters are able to interpret the data
Mm-hmm.
and using the product fairly efficiently. And so this is it.
Okay, so is there multilingual support or mobile first UI design for field technician in tier 2, tier 3 city?
As of now, we are not giving multilingual support. This will come in the later versions.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yes, we are providing a mobile app, and because most of our charts are visually present, so the language is not so much of an issue because it's mostly numbers and graphical user interface.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yes, going forward, we do see the need for giving multilingual support,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the basic apps and basic charts will have it as and when required. But our maps already have that capability because
Mm-hmm.
that is something provided,
Okay.
um, but not on the core application side.
Okay. Okay. So, how does the platform optimize battery performance in cost sensitive scenarios where low upfront cost may compromise battery quality or standardization?
See, at the end of the day, the first thing that we do is build a benchmark.
Mm-hmm.
Again, as I keep coming to this, so typically batteries are sold, with a certain commitment in terms of number of cycles of usage and performance of the battery in terms of what is the kilometer being traveled in one cycle, what is the number of kilowatt hours required to reach 1 kilometer. So all these benchmarks are built in place. So over a period of time, what has happened is we have worked with multiple battery companies and we've kind of come to a certain conclusion, and we have our own benchmark. So for a particular, for example, design of battery for a particular kilowatt hour of energy, we know that per kilowatt hour of energy, you should get X number of kilometers of mileage. And if your benchmark, if your whatever data or whatever mileage you're getting is less than the benchmark or more than the benchmark, I
Mm-hmm.
think we will be able to make that comparison and give it uh, providers, to the battery companies or our customers so that they can make the understanding themselves and then look at root causes. What I'm saying is, yeah, one of the things that we are doing is, I think, did you hear about the cooling, the coolant correlation and things like that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we work on is fault management and understanding of faults. And that's a very core part of our product. We've already launched this for the bus segment. Now it is getting launched for the three-wheeler segment also. So one is the battery management system faults which are coming in. And
Mm-hmm.
the second is the data which is being derived, the fault understanding which is being derived um, from the battery. That means if I am looking at independent data, and if we see that one data is out of range, we also need to look at other data to understand um, what is the correlation with that. So, for example, one critical thing that we keep seeing is sometimes battery temperature goes high, and immediately what we have to check for is whether the coolant system is working or not, the cooling system is working or not properly. And that is often a case where the coolant system is not working. That is why the battery temperature is going high, and there's no fundamental problem in the battery system itself. So I think this is something that we are very keen to evolve into the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and as we go into the system, we will be looking at more and more fault data
Mm-hmm.
and understanding that faults, understanding the root causes behind the fault, and how to mitigate those faults is something that will become core to our platform offering, so that the end users of batteries um, are basically able to handle systems properly and then utilize the data properly,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
build these benchmarks into the day-to-day operations.
Okay. So, Arjun, I want to know, how was your last fiscal growth, and what will be your plan for upcoming 2 years?
See, our numbers are available. We intend to grow, I think, 6 to 7x this year, and I think by the end of this financial year, we will also turn cash positive. That is one of our goals this year. We are expecting a 7x growth this year,
Mm-hmm.
and headcount will also double. So we are at 15 people. We will become a 30 people company by the end of this financial year. We will scale up our presence in India. We already have offices in Gurgaon in the north, and Bangalore. We've just started operations in end of this month. We will start our operations in Pune as well. So this financial year, we will be scaling up rapidly our business in Indian market through a mix of direct presence and partnerships that we are building. Next year, we will be also scaling up our new product line, which is the stationary product line. So we expect that to be giving us a huge amount of growth, and next year's growth will be also around 6 to 7x. So I think uh, from our core business perspective, I think, as I said, we will get into every business which uses battery. And our focus is that if there is a battery operated system, our platform, Preksha, should be there to manage the operations of this battery,
Mm-hmm.
make sure that the understanding of data of these batteries is there, make sure that the battery system is safe, reliable, and affordable to use.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, is there any other future plans which would you like to share with us?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that we will be getting into different domains. So I think compared to a few other companies which believe in a similar philosophy, we will not limit ourselves to the electric vehicle sector alone.
Mm-hmm.
We basically look at how batteries are becoming smart.
Mm-hmm.
So every battery comes with a battery management system, which is a small PCB, and has basically the entire operations embedded onto it somewhere. So, from our perspective, the ability to get the data is not a very big challenge anymore, because all the batteries now come with a communication port.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, we are able to build these data models which will mimic the performance of the battery onto the cloud. And from that, we will be able to make sure that every aspect of the battery operations is completely is managed properly, managed efficiently, benchmarked efficiently,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep saying it is safe, reliable, and affordable. So, the first thing that we are going to scale up is our electric vehicle business. This year is going to be a focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
Next focus is on stationary storage, BESS market,
Mm-hmm.
and also then significantly ramp up our presence in new areas. So one of the um, areas the next year will be a core focus for us will be battery deployments in data centers. And we also see significant opportunities coming up in the overseas market in subsequent years. Whatever we are doing, because I mean, everything is software. We believe that our platform can be scaled up through the right partnerships across key markets. And in the subsequent years, we will definitely be scaling this up in Southeast Asia, Africa, and then subsequently in the mature markets, which is North America and Europe.